I'm at UW-Madison in Wisconsin. Show up, be consistent, and stay on brand. So that you have brand recognition. I'm going to repeat those. Show up, be consistent, and stay on brand. Okay, so that's the most.
What's that last one? Stay on brand.
Stay on brand. B-R-A-N-D. So you have brand recognition. If you were to follow me on Instagram, if you didn't see my face in the upper left-hand corner, you would know that those are Laurie Buchanan's photos. I don't watermark them. I embed things in them so I know if somebody takes them, but you would go, oh my gosh, that's Laurie Buchanan, that's Laurie Buchanan, that's Laurie Buchanan. That's brand recognition. You know, if Pepsi didn't say Pepsi, the word Pepsi was gone, but everything else was there, you would know it. If the Ford emblem was there without the word Ford, you would know it. You would know McDonald's just by the golden arches. That's brand recognition. How many of you in here are published, whether it's indie published, hybrid published, or traditionally published? Okay. And of those that raised your hand, just kind of shout out genre.
Urban fantasy.
Okay, urban fantasy. What else?
Spy thriller.
Spy thriller.
Action
Fantasy.
adventure.
Okay, action adventure.
History.
Okay, what
Weird
else?
stuff.
What?
Weird stuff.
Weird stuff.
Suspense.
Suspense. Okay. Yes.
What do I say? Okay. Adventure mystery.
Adventure mystery. Okay, so right from the get-go, I'm going to explain something that a lot of people don't know. They use suspense thriller and mystery interchangeably. And I'm going to explain right now the difference. Mystery, the reader doesn't know who done it until the end. Typically, with suspense thriller, the reader knows within the first 10 pages. And therein lies the suspense. It's a very Alfred Hitchcockian thing to do, is to let everybody know who the bad guy, gal is, but the people in the book don't know. The characters don't know. There is the suspense and the thrill right there. You as the reader are saying, don't go in the garage, don't go down into the basement, don't go into the attic, whatever it is it might be. That's the difference. In the mystery, everything is revealed at the end, and they both have a place. They're both awesome to read. Now, a mystery might have some suspense thriller in it, and a suspense thriller might have some mystery in it. But that's the typical classic difference between them. Did any of you learn something, or you all knew that?
I learned.
You learned something.
Me too.
Okay. Woohoo! So we've got our takeaway, and we've learned one thing. How many of you have your own website? Okay. How many of you not only have a website, but you're the webmaster or webmistress of your website? How many of you go in and check analytics? Of you that have websites, check your analytics every day? How many of you get up at 4 in the morning? Okay, so I check my analytics every day. I get up at 4 in the morning. If you were to look at me on any social media platform, you'd see I have quite the number of followers. I'm going to share some secrets with you today. Secrets that I share when I'm out teaching at the universities. I'm going to hand you each a piece of paper. The front and the back are identical. I use one piece of paper for 6 days. And by the time I've used it, it's highlighted purple, pink, blue, green, whatever color ink on it. And I just use it every day so that I don't put stuff into the landfills. But you're going to go, what is she handing me this for? This is the secret sauce to my social presence, to why I have what I have. So I'll be back in a minute. Hand this out. Hear me if I sit? Because I'm going to be driving my laptop here. At 6 o'clock you'll see, and some of this is not business. I think of writing as being an author as a business, and I treat it as such. It's 100% a business. I get up at 4, and at 4 I start doing my yoga. I make sure that everything is in its place, everything has a place, everything is in its place, so that nothing is bothering me when I start writing. Otherwise I'll say, oh, I've got to do the dishes, or Henry needs a walk, or whatever it might be. Now I have a huge favorite poodle named Hemingway, And in one of the books, there's a seeing eye dog. And she is based on Hemingway. So I have 2 Facebook pages. The first one, you never need to look at. I just do one humorous thing each day. People who suffer from agoraphobia, people say, Laurie, I wake up looking for your funny thing each day. But then I do the Instagram Writers Challenge, and then I write that first line there. I write how many people are following me. It's important, and you'll know why here shortly. Then I do the Facebook Writers Challenge. I put that same thing over there. When I post on one, it posts on both. Then I do a Facebook invite followers. That's important. And then I do a Twitter post. It's completely different. I'm not a fan of Twitter at all, but I have so many followers, I'm not about to lose them. I'm not about to just quit. A lot of people have, and I get it. Absolutely get it. But it's visibility, visibility, visibility that feeds back to brand recognition. Okay. Then I do something called Dunya. I volunteer on the weekends. It's a place called Dunya. Dunya is a word that in 17 languages means world. So I am the social media guru for them. I go in, I take photographs, and I do this same thing. I spin whatever things they've gotten in from around the globe, and I spin that. So Dunya won't mean anything to you. If you are part of a writers group, looks like you are, on Facebook, typically they have a page. I'm part of the Blackbird Writers, BBW, Blackbird Writing Group. I go to that page and I like, I share, I comment. If I like, I share, I comment, there's this thing called the karmic kickback, reciprocity, however you want to pronounce it. And that stands me in good stead to be a good literary citizen. So I go out there and I like, and I share, and I comment on as many things as I possibly can. And it comes back. I go in as Laurie Buchanan, author. I don't go in as Laurie Buchanan, the goofy person. Okay. Now here's where the really important stuff starts. Now we're at the 3rd chunk down. Create Writers Challenge for tomorrow. So I follow a Writers Challenge. I probably got 3,000 followers just from this alone. You can join this Writers Challenge on Instagram at any time. If you all have a bookmark. If you say, Laurie, what's that hashtag? How do I do that? Just send me an email. You can get to me through my website, and make sure that in the information bar, you say Spokane. Then I'll know it was somebody in this room. Don't say anything but Spokane, just Spokane, and I'll know. And then I will say, here's the hashtag that you want to look up. Here's the 2 ladies that you need to follow. Jump in. This is a huge deal where authors and writers are following authors and writers. And remember, social media is about being social, being a good literary citizen. So I create that challenge for tomorrow. So I get the next one down. So today is the 12th. This morning when I got up, after I finished all my things at 4 o'clock in the morning, I created the one for tomorrow, the 13th, so that everything for tomorrow is already lined up. The ones I did this morning, I had created yesterday. Everybody with me so far? Okay. Then I create my scheduled meme. Look below that. See the asterisk that says scheduled memes? Remember, you only want 20% of any post that you do to be, oh, it's my book, my book, my book, my book, my book. So I do 3 posts every single day, 7 days a week. That's 21. 3 only are my books. So on Monday, look at here, it's a mock-up book blurb. Tuesday, I have a Tuesdays with Laurie. So if you come here, you're going to go back here. We're going to go Tuesdays with Laurie. You'll see it's timing because we're on the library channel. Clocking, hopefully. Here we go. I'm going to scoop down. My cursor is going to show you right here that I have 1,051,147 views. It's because I show up, be consistent, and stay on brand. That's a stinking lot of views. Somebody likes it, comments it, retweets it, puts it on Facebook, uses my hashtag, I will find it. And I say thank you. I never don't say thank you. I never take. If somebody does something for me, if somebody likes something, I like it. If somebody comments, I comment. If somebody spins something of mine, I find something of theirs and I spin it. This is really important. Reciprocity, really important. Okay. So on Wednesday, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can see that I do something about a book, and I rotate through them. These are my, when I signed my first contract, I pitched it pretty well. I got a 3-book contract. It boosted to 5. It went to 7. I'm now on an 8-book contract. The bottom book, Impervious, of which I only have an arc, doesn't hit the shelves until April 4th. Iniquity comes out next. I'm almost done writing Illusionist. Have you noticed that all of my books start with the letter I? All of my books are 4 syllables long. Indelible, iconoclast, impervious, iniquity, illusionist. Is anybody curious to know why?
Brand.
Good question. I don't know the answer. I wanted something. I wanted a trick. I wanted something that was unique to me that set me apart. Remember the woman, and I cannot believe I cannot remember her name. She wrote A is for whatever, B is for whatever, C is for whatever, and she died on Z, just before Z was released. But she wrote the murder mysteries. Remember that? Okay, that was a really cool thing. I love this idea. In each of my books, once and only, you will find the word. One time in the book, you will find the name of the title. In my books, one time only, there is one paragraph that has a great horned owl, only once in each book. I want something unique and different than anybody else out there. Make sure that you think in terms of having something unique and different that only you do. Okay, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I do a book. On Tuesday, I drive people to my blog. Tuesdays with Laurie, a play on Tuesdays with Maury. Thursday, I typically do a throwback Thursday. We travel a lot. My husband, who's out there somewhere, is a pilot. Had this been a different time of year, we have a little 4-seater Cessna, we would have flown in. This is not the time of year to fly in. Just slide right off that runway, not the time. On Saturday, I do a bite-sized book review. If you look at what I read on Google, you'll see every year I do a challenge. I read just short of 200 books each year. If I can give a book 3 stars or more, I always, without exception, post a review, the same one, on Amazon, BookBub, and Goodreads. And I keep it at 50 words or less. It's a Saturday bite-sized review. I also create, for whoever that author is, a meme, a graphic that they can turn around and use themselves. And it says, you know, blah, 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 Laurie Buchanan, author of the Sean McPherson novels. So when they're putting that out there, they're also tooting my horn. Laurie read that. Well, a lot of people want to be on the Laurie Buchanan bite-sized review schedule. Right now, it's a 37-book wait. A lot of people ask me, remember, if you're going to ask, I would never, ever, as an author, we have to go hat in hand and ask other authors to blurb us, to review us. I would never ask an author to blurb or review me if I hadn't already read several of their books and reviewed them. So that by the time I go to their email and I'm sending, I can also send them the memes that I created. Here's a link to, let's call it Robert Dugoni, lives in Seattle. Bob, will you please review me? You know, you've seen me, all through the Stacy Cross-White novels. Yes, Laurie, I'm happy to review you. And I only get that because I have reviewed his work. So make sure you never, ever stand up to the plate and ask an author, big or small, to review something of yours if you haven't already, not just last week, You need to grow your audience, grow your other authors so that you have a foot to stand on. Otherwise, the answer is no, or they don't even respond. Is everybody with me so far? Everybody agree with me?
Yep.
You don't have to agree with me. I'm going to take a water. On Sunday, I do an unplug. And it's just, I do a photograph of something that's unplugged, a relaxation something. I do still respond to my stuff. People are thinking, well, I don't want to spend my life on social media, neither do I. Therein is the 4 o'clock in the morning thing. Once I'm done with it in the morning, I'm done with it. It'll have to wait till the next day. So my day, my Monday is my one gentle day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I write on the BIC method, butt in chair. And I do 2 miles, sit down and write 2 hours. I do 2 more miles, I sit down and write 2 more hours, and I cap it off with 2 more miles. I walk 6 miles a day, rain, sleet, snow. I don't want to have my son be in charge of my elder care. Oh, hell no. He'll put a pillow over my mouth and just see you, Mom. So I want to take really good care of myself, and I have a 4-year-old granddaughter. I'm also a retired holistic health practitioner, HHP. So not only do I want to take care of myself, I know how to take care of myself. I'm 65 years old, and I probably could outrun most 25-year-olds, and I'm extremely flexible, and I'm fit and healthy and focused. And that's really important to me. And this is my job, and I plan on doing it until I tip over dead. So I want to stay healthy. I want to keep my mind sharp and my body both. So Monday is my one gentle day where if I've got to go to the grocery store, I've got to go here or here, I get that done. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the BIC method, butt in chair. Saturday and Sunday, I volunteer at Dunia. 3 nights a week, I have my 4-year-old granddaughter. Therein is another reason to stay fit and healthy for me, because I'm chasing a 4-year-old, which can outrun anybody, anytime, any day. She can do circles around me. So at 6 a.m., typically, give or take, 6 a.m. Mountain Time, I post the first post, whatever that one is. Then at noon, I do the scheduled me, and then at 5 p.m., I do Walking My Muse. I do a lot of photographs. I probably take 100 photos a day, and I delete probably all but 2 or 3. While I'm out doing all those walks, I'm taking photos, and they're all supporting my brand. There's pine trees, there's pine cones, there's a river, there's mountains, there's snow-capped, they're not snow-capped. The Sean McPherson novels were going to take place in the Vancouver, Camas, Washougal area. I ran away from home when I was 15. I lived along the Columbia River, and I lied about my age. I was the only, I think I was and still am, the only female person who ever worked at Hambleton Lumber Mill. I was not a lumberjill, I was not a lumberjack, I was a lumberjill. I was the only female there. Everybody else was male. And it was a very hard, stinking hard job, and I did it. And if you know anything about Camas and Washougal, there's a big paper mill there, and it's kind of a stinky town. And I saved my money. It was a union job. I had to save my money, and finally I wasn't living under a boat that was turned upside down anymore. I went and got an apartment, and I lied about my age and everything. Back then people couldn't check things. Again, I'm 65. And I went to work at Fred Meyer in Vancouver. And then I managed, I don't know how many departments and then how many stores, and went on, blah, blah, blah. I ran away from home when I was 15, so I had to get a GED. I did not know that if you leave school before your graduating class, you cannot sit for the GED until 2 years after your graduating class, or everybody would jump ship. So I got my GED, and it took me until 2 weeks before my 50th birthday to get my PhD. And I did get my PhD in holistic health with an emphasis in energy medicine. It's never too late to start anything. regardless of what your goal or your dream is. It's never, ever, ever too late. Somebody will give me a hand when it's time for me to wind up, right? Okay. So then at 5 p.m. I post the third and final group of photos or single photo for the day, which is Walking My Muse, which is again on brand. Remember, you need to show up, be consistent, stay on brand. People can pretty much mark their time by seeing my posts come up. And then again, they'll start liking and sharing and commenting, and we do that reciprocally. So over on the right-hand side, you see a column, and you see AZ, which for me is short for Amazon, and you see the 3 books indelible. Let me say, I'm going to go back. These are my first 3 fiction books. I have 2 nonfiction books, Note to Self, a 7-step path to gratitude and growth, which won the Self-Help Book of the Year in 2016, and then The Business of Being, Soul Purpose in and Out of the Workplace. That came out 2 years after that. So I have experience in nonfiction as well. When I figured I had written as much as I possibly could about those topics, I switched to, I would read and think, oh gosh, I think maybe I could do as good of a job. In some cases, I think I might be able to do a better job. And so I started dumping this stuff out of my brain. I sidetracked myself. The books were going to be in Vancouver on the Columbia River. I was speaking at Right on the Sound in Edmonds, Washington. How many of you have been there? It's a wonderful, wonderful. I've thrown in my hat into the ring for this year to speak there, and I can't remember if it's September or October. We'll see if they pick me up this year. And then after I spoke in Edmonds, my husband and I took a drive up to Bellingham. And the minute it said, "Welcome to Bellingham," there was just something, it was like fairy dust that went, and I said, I'm switching the place. I had to go back in to the manuscript and start switching it. I knew right then and there it was going to be different. And Pines and Quill, which is fictitious, a writing retreat, would be based on a bluff overlooking Bellingham Bay off of Chuckanut Drive. For any of you who are familiar with Bellingham, Fairhaven is the historic district there. Okay, so in the morning, right-hand column, I go check how many reviews are on Amazon for Indelible Iconoclast, and then nothing for Impervious yet, because it hasn't come out. Then the same thing for Goodreads, Iconoclast, Impervious. Then I go to BookBub, Indelible Iconoclast, Impervious, and I check followers, because once you hit 1,000 followers, it's extraordinarily difficult to get followers. I have multiple followers on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm at 769 followers. It's like pulling teeth. Once you hit 1,000, you are offered by BookBub perks that you can't otherwise get. I mean, really cool perks that they send stuff about you to readers. We think you might like the Sean McPherson novels. Some of it is at a cost, a low cost. Some of it is at a no cost. So you want to follow other authors. If I follow other authors, they follow me, and so on and so forth. There's that reciprocity again. Make sure that you are good about that, because you'll get followed back. Then you'll see BS, which is Book Sirens. So right now, this one, Impervious, is just an ARC. You can put a digital copy of any ARC out there, and you get, I'm gonna go really fast, and you get people who pick up the ARC, and they are then not obligated, but pretty much toes to fire, kind of obligated to post your reviews. They're honest reviews, and they say, I received a free ARC. This is, I'm posting of my free will. Nobody put nails through my fingers and bamboo shoots or anything like that. So then we go down and we see my WordPress stats, Tuesdays with Laurie, LaurieBuchanan.com, Wix, and they have these lines after them. When I see a jump in my numbers, I go, what was posted yesterday? Typically, it's something with my face or my husband's face, or my husband, wouldn't put his face if we weren't together, or my dog's face. They get a lot, and I do more of this, or my writing studio. People want to see personal things about you. They want to see, what does your writing studio look like? What does your desk look like? Len, come on in. What does your desk look like? That's my husband, Len, the pilot. They get, he's got his EAA, Experimental Aircraft Association hat on. They get more hits, so you want to do more. You want to look at what gets more hits. And then I go out to Instagram, I check the hashtag Laurie Buchanan, I check the hashtag Sean McPherson novels. I go out to who followed, who I unfollow. If somebody unfollowed me, I unfollow them. I do not carry dead weight. I will not carry dead weight. And so that's what that is. Blackbird website. Remember, I belong to the Blackbird website like you guys do here. If there's something I can go out there and share, spin, tweet, Facebook, whatever, I do it. I go to allauthor.com and mock-ups to see if there's something new that I might be able to create a meme with. I clear my downloads folder. This is my husband, who's also my technical guy in the back. Empty your downloads folder. I have 97,000 photographs on this little laptop right now. I don't have room to carry junk, so I empty my downloads folder. I clear my desktop. I delete any duplicate photos I have. Then I check Google Alerts. If you don't know how to set a Google Alert, go out and Google Google Alerts. The thing that I am known for is whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. That is my quote. People go out there and take it. People like to use my photographs. You can set up an alert and check these alerts. And if they're giving attribution, fine. If not, I send my intellectual property attorney their way. And then I do my Bing points. I get $10 a month for using Bing instead of Google, although I use both. And then the rest is just stuff for me that's more or less personal. What do you have questions about? Or do we have questions later?
We have time
we
for
have
questions.
later,
Yeah.
so we don't need to cover that. I think I'm done.
Okay.
If you need me to be done.
No, well, we have time for question and answers right now.
Okay, we'll do questions and answers right now. Yes.
How do you deal with negative feedback?
I just water off a duck. I will not be held hostage by the opinion of others. That's another one of my quotes from Note to Self. I will not be held hostage by the opinion of others. If I am, I will never be happy. Ever. Yes.
I was eavesdropping and then I came in here listening. What percentage of your time is advocating or promoting versus writing? Just give me a ballpark.
I write a lot more, so I write on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I walk 2 miles, write 2 hours, walk 2 miles, write 2 hours. That's 4. Walk 2 miles, and then I'm done. I walk at least 4 hours. At least 4 hours a day. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Is my husband home? Do I have my granddaughter? What's going on? But there's 4 hours of big writing, but in chair. Yes.
What was kind of your spark that started your first book?
I was at Hedgebrook. How many of you have heard of Hedgebrook? The women's writing retreat on Whidbey Island. I came out of my place that you get to stay at. And in the very far distance, there was an extremely handsome man who was in his probably 30s. He was pushing a wheelbarrow. He looked maybe like some kind of landscaping groundskeeper, and he was limping. I mean, serious limping. And the first thing that went into my mind was Afghanistan. He was the right age for that. And I was there writing nonfiction books. That seed got planted back there. He is Sean McPherson.